Hi everyone, Jackie here with Enjoying Life's Journey. Welcome back to the channel. So I've had a few people who are interested in how we came up with our retirement numbers, or maybe our plan for retirement, and how we can incorporate how much we need to invest in order to reach those goals, and when we want to reach those goals, and how much money do we need, and how do we figure out how much money we need. So today we're going to talk about all of those things. So I did create a very basic template form. It's not even really a form. I'm literally just documenting some stuff into Excel to kind of keep track. So we're going to jump on my Excel form and I'm going to show you how I calculated how much we need for retirement and how you can do the same thing. So you're going to see a bunch of numbers here and it might seem a little crazy. I know when my husband looks at it, he doesn't want anything to do with anything. He tells me, "You're doing a great job, keep doing what you're doing." So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to try to break it down for you guys so you can understand what's going on here. The first thing we're going to do though, we're going to focus on these middle numbers here. So what I have here is we're going to start calculating how much we need for different stages of retirement, or stages of financial freedom, if you will. The first thing you're trying to get to is financial security. So what is financial security? So in financial security, you're going to make sure you have a roof over your head, food in your belly, electricity, and your transportation. But basically, your bare bone necessities is what your financial security number is. So let's take a look at what ours is. So roof over our head, we have mortgage. So our current, I'm calculating two options here. I have, what am I spending on a monthly basis with debt and with kids being at home, and without. By the time we retire, most likely our kids are going to be grown and moved out. Now, if you're trying to do really early retirement, you might need to calculate just with the kids. Now, let's say you want to retire and you're not worried about having some of that debt. That's fine. You're just going to need more money than if you didn't have debt. Right? So first thing is your mortgage. So how much are you spending? We pay $14.19.82 a month. Now, if we did not have debt, we'd still owe $105 for our property tax and our homeowner's insurance. So this is what our bill would be. Food. Currently, we spend, with eating out and going to the grocery store, we're spending about $650 a month on food. We have 2 children. When they move out, it will basically be cut in half because it will just be me and my husband. So $325. Utilities. So this is our water, sewer, trash, our solar, and our electricity. We're spending around $407 a month currently. We estimate that would go down slightly to $377. Not a huge jump down, but maybe we'd save $100 a month without the kids being here. We wouldn't really know till that time came. Transportation. So for us, this is gas for our vehicles. We spend about $390. We're estimating we'd save about $90 because we wouldn't be driving the kids to school or their soccer practices and soccer games, things like that. So maybe that would be a little bit less. So truck and teardrop, this is our debt. We currently, with the truck and the teardrop payment together, we're spending $709.15. If we pay those off, it would be $0. We wouldn't need that. So all in all, our base necessities, our financial security would be, we would need $4,178 a month or $1,610. Which one looks better to you? So you can do the same thing. Just make a list. You can even write it on paper and make a list. What are you currently spending on these items, and what would it look like if you didn't have the debt or you didn't have children? Maybe, like I mentioned, they're moved out. Okay. So you have to see what would that look like. So then what I did was I came over here and I took those numbers and I plugged them into our financial security goal. So monthly, again, we have with mortgage, debt, and kids, without a mortgage, debt, and kids. So we're looking at our monthly, and I went ahead and did divide that by 12. I did a formula, just said divide that by, or times it by 12. So we would need $50,000 a year or $19,000 a year. 19 sounds a lot better. And then what we did was I times that by 20. Now some people do 25 because there's that 4% rule. I do 20. This is something I got off of Tony Robbins, and it's actually because you might have additional income, passive income that's coming in. These numbers are based, your retirement numbers, some of these are based on you having money in investments and those stocks or whatever, mutual funds, just earning value, but you might have dividends coming in. That's a passive income stream. You might have a rental property that has passive income. You might also get Social Security that you're counting as separate. So for us, we times it by 20. So as of right now, we would need $1 million just to cover our base necessities. There's no way I want to try to get $1 million just to cover the basics. So obviously 386 sounds a little more doable. I have this orange because this is the current number we're working towards getting. So you could do something similar. Again, you could just use a calculator and a pen and paper, and you can just say, okay, this is how much we would need. And you could do the 25 if you want to say times 25 as well, and you need a larger number. The next step that you'd be trying to reach is your financial independence. So financial independence would be how much you would need to cover your current lifestyle. Okay, so this isn't the extras that you might want in retirement. That, you know, it's not the extra travel or whatever. This is what your current lifestyle is. So again, we're going to follow the same path that we had. And what we're going to do, we're going to plug in, first thing we're plugging in here, our financial security number, right? So these are the basics. Then what are we adding? Home, personal care, fun, giving, these type of things, right? So for us, this could be home, like adding, you know, paper towels and paper plates and cleaning supplies and things like that. Let's say we're spending about $100 a month. Well, when the kids are gone, maybe we're only going to spend $50 a month. Personal care, let's say we're spending $200 a month, and when the kids are gone, we're only need $100 a month. Now this fluctuates for us. Some months we spend more than that, some months it's less than that, but if we look at our yearly spending, that's kind of what we're spending. Fun, $200 a month, and maybe when the kids are gone, we still want to do $200 a month because we still want to include our kids or our grandkids, so that may not change. Same thing with giving. We're going to keep our giving the same no matter what. Now again, these numbers change for us on a monthly basis. This is just kind of what we were shooting for. So again, as we get closer and we get more realistic and we start using those yearly budgets as a tracker and we look back and say, how much are we actually spending? We can update these numbers, right? So again, if we have mortgage, we have debt, and the kids are staying at home, to live our current lifestyle, we would need $4,828 a month. Or if we paid off all of our debt and our mortgage and the kids have moved out, we only need $2,110 a month. So again, if we plug that in over here for our financial independence, we have our monthlies. Here's our yearly, so we need 57, basically 58,000 a year, or we need about 26,000 a year. Or in our investments, we need 1.1 million or 560,000. 560,000 sounds a lot better. And then our other one is financial freedom. So what kind of lifestyle do you want that's a little more luxury than what you're currently having? This could be just adding more travel, like I said. It could be increasing your giving budget. It could be maybe getting a second property that you have a mortgage for. I don't know. You might even want to take a fourth calculation and go to abundance, you know, depending on how far you want to take it. We personally just sent it to freedom because we felt, hey, if we could travel every month and have our home base and our teardrop trailer paid off and we can do that type of stuff, that would be great. So let's take a look at our numbers. So again, we take our financial independent number and now we're going to add additional travel. So let's say we want to do $2,000 a month if we have the kids joining us, or $1,000 a month if we don't have the kids joining us. Home improvements, let's say, you know, hey, we want to start being able to add those home improvements. To be completely honest with you, we've already been doing home improvements, so there's a good chance that this home improvement number would be added to our current lifestyle number rather than that one. But let's say $200 a month. With or without the kids, this is something we would be striving for. Giving, increase it. So instead of 150, we're doing 350 a month, no matter with or without the kids. And for us, most of our giving is basically holidays and birthdays and stuff for friends and family. Hobbies, we're retired. We need a hobby, right? So maybe $100 a month for a new hobby besides just traveling. We don't know. So basically we're looking at the way things are now, we would need $7,328 a month or $3,610. So let's look at our over here. So for the year, we would need basically 88,000 versus 44,000. right? In retirement, we need 1.7 million versus 866,000, right? So we're still pretty close to needing $1 million. However, this is for our financial freedom. If we had $1 million, we would actually be hitting probably our financial abundance number, right? But here's the deal. A lot of people think that they need way more money than they do, and that's because you're calculating it with all this debt. If you can get out of all that debt by the time you retire, that's less money you need. And if you did go save 1.7 million, well then hey, now you're living a more luxury lifestyle, right? Or you have another option. You can retire earlier with less money. You can retire later with more money. It's totally up to you how you do it. But it's good to have a rough idea of how much do you really need. You may not need as much as you think, or it might be a push that helps you say, hey, you know what? If we got out of debt, we could retire early. We could retire like 10 years early. Wouldn't that be great? So the other thing I have calculated on my Excel sheet is kind of an estimate of when we think we're going to reach those numbers based on what we're investing now, based on what we think we can invest in the future. Let's take a look at that. Again, it's going to look like a lot of numbers. Now I went to Google. I typed in compound interest calculator. Okay. I like to use the same one every time I'm doing something like this just because it helps me to know that things are kind of calculated the same. So I've just been going to this investor.gov. Is it the one you have to go to? No, that's just the one I go to. But you basically put in what your initial investment is, how much you're going to put in every month, how many years do you want to calculate that, what do you think your rate of return is going to be for the year, and then you calculate. So for me, I did all of this based on like 8%. And a lot of times I only did 1 year at a time because every year I was changing how much I was putting, right? So let's say I'm starting off. Currently we have about 28,000. Now let's say we're going to put in 500 a month for a year and we estimate 8% return. We actually are currently sitting at a 34% return on our investments for 2021 because of, one, our employer match, and then two, just how the market is right now. But we hit calculate. It's going to tell us by the end of 1 year, we'll have 36,000 in our retirement. Okay, so this is the number I would then put in for that year, and then I could do this again each time. Now let's say I was going to do 500 a month, but I'm going to do that for, I got 5 years before I think I can increase that, and we're going to say calculate. Well, in 5 years, and I'd have 76,000, right? So this is just a good tool that we use. This is our current goal, okay? Our current goal is 26,000. We've reached that goal. We've surpassed that goal. 30,982 with Ricky's 401k and my Roth IRAs combined. So we surpassed our goal for this year. So I'm super excited about that. But here we are. I started calculating this basically last year. So for last year's 20 to 21 year, we originally were trying to, I think our goal was 16,000 and we got it up to 18,574. So we actually passed our goal last time. And again, this was with the estimate of 8% growth. We were investing an average of $411 a month. It was broken up between about $372 for Ricky's and $39 for my Roth. I'm no longer doing my Roth, so right now we're just focusing on Ricky's 401k for the next couple years at least. Ricky's match from his employer was 54% of his, which was $2,936. My match was only 76, which I ultimately ended up not getting when I quit anyways. So now this is our current year. So we're the age 39. This is in orange because this is what we're doing. We paid off my car this year, so I put that in green. Again, our goal was 26,000. So like what I did was I put this 18,000 in the interest calculator, in the compound interest calculator, put that as our starting amount. I said we were going to be investing $322 a month for the year at 8%, and then I got my next goal number, okay? Ricky's match was $2,185, which was about 48% of his income. And I'm just keeping track here, put in the IRA. So as of right now, we've put personally $850 into the Roth IRA. So this is money that I can take out penalty free after a 5-year period. So I just keep track of this so I know how much money do we have access to if we needed it. Okay. Also for early retirement. So that's that goal. So we move on to the next year. The next year's goal is to pay off the teardrop, and we're going to be investing about $877 a month. We are going to start increasing every single month we're increasing 1% 401k, or a combination of 401k and the Roth IRAs. We might play with that number, right? We're estimating Ricky's employer match to be about $2,143. Basically, the last 3 years that he's had his matches, it's averaged 58%. So we put 58% for that year. So this is what we're estimating. Again, we put that $26,000 into the interest calculator. We put $877 a month for 8% for a year. We're estimating we'll have $46,000 by the end of 2022. However, as we know, our starting number is actually $30,000. So I will recalculate this. I may have already recalculated it. I think I did, and that's why I have this black line here showing we've recalculated some stuff. But this is the idea that we've done. We just went month by month, we went year by year and just tried to do a little estimating. So it's not perfect, but we've estimated. So you can see eventually we want to be we'll be investing about $1,000 in there. We want to pay off the truck, we want to pay off the house. So by the age of 45, we want to be 100% debt free, including the house. That would set us up great. At that time, we should have about $220,000 also in our investments. And we start contributing to the Roth IRAs. At this point, we are going to be maxing out 2 Roth IRAs, basically investing $1,000 a month into those, and then the rest into Ricky's 401k. Again, this could change. We may start investing. I actually think we're going to start investing into the Roth IRAs 2022 anyway, so I am going to update this accordingly. But this is what I've had for the last year or so, just kind of calculating and estimating. Again, I put on here, we're maxing out the 401k and the Roth IRAs, hopefully. You can see here, by the time we're 48, we should reach our financial security number. We might be changing our tactics slightly, and we might really focus on just paying more into the retirement and maybe taking a little longer to pay off debt. We don't know. But either way, as long as we're debt free by the time we retire, we're good. So we should have, roughly around $380,000 by the time we're 48. By the time we're 49, we should have about $468,000. So now that puts us in our financial independent number. And then by the time we're 52, we should have our financial freedom number, about $814,000 in there. However, most likely, Ricky's not going to want to retire that early. Also, we're not going to have enough money in the Roth IRAs to be able to pull that money out. So if we continue to invest about $2,000 a month, he can retire, and we can draw $40,000 a year off of the Roth IRA until we're 59 and a half or 60. So basically, if Ricky were to retire at that point, we would be retiring with $1.2 million. At 57. I'm excited about these numbers. Now, if Ricky wanted to keep working till he's 60, we could retire with $1.6 million, right? So it gives you these options. Just being able to play with the numbers a little bit and just see how much could we invest? What could we do here or there? It's a huge change. Now, some of these numbers, $4,000 a month, this may not necessarily be possible. Some of these numbers I had originally calculated when I was working. I'm not working anymore. So this line here tells me this is the numbers I had updated. So some of these are obviously going to change. So this might be delayed by a little bit of time, or we might choose to invest more now and pay the debt off slower. But it gives us some options, and it kind of gives us an idea of where we're headed. Now again, let's say we want to retire at 57. So we have, at that point, we're estimated to have put $151,000 into there that we can take out. So we could take out $40,000 a year from there, and then we would retire with roughly $1.3 thousand, because as we're taking money out, these are still gaining that 8%. It's still gaining because you're not taking all the money out. Maybe you take out $40,000 in one lump sum, and then the rest is still growing. So even if we were to retire, we'd still have 1.3 million by the time we were 60. Now, one of our ultimate goals would be to take a world cruise. Do I know how much it's really going to cost? I don't know. I put 100,000 on here. This would be our financial abundance number. If you notice, I put here FA. Our financial abundance would be we get to do a world cruise. So that year we would take 140,000 out of the investments versus 40,000. Okay, and then that would leave us with about 1.3 million for the rest of that. Then we just have here estimates. You know, we start receiving Social Security at 62 or 67, 65, whatever, I don't know. Keeping track a little bit of what Medicare will cost for us when we're 65. Just things that we can plan ahead. But this is kind of how we've just estimated what we think we can accomplish by when. So each year we just put what our estimation was is our goal. And so far, 2 years in a row, we have surpassed our goal. So that's really cool to think. Another thing I'm kind of keeping track over on the side is passive income. So, you know, how much are we getting cash back from our Discover card? How much are we getting from dividends from our investing? How much are we getting interest from our bank account? And what we possibly will be getting from Social Security. So we'll take a look at that. So here is what I'm kind of calculating right now as of our current. So this was as of October. So savings account, we get about $5 a month. So $60 a year, we get 0.5%. So obviously as we pay off debt and we start building our emergency fund, this might be up a little bit higher. It's not like any significant amount, but hey, it's something to keep track of, right? Ricky's 401k dividend payments. As of right now, he's getting about $61 a quarter, so about $244 a year. We are just reinvesting that right now. That's just getting reinvested. I have 2 Roth IRAs here. I'm not getting any dividends in there, and I'm not getting any dividends in there. I do have Robinhood dividends. I get 47 cents monthly and 62 cents quarterly. I only have like 3 stocks in there right now, but that's $8 a year. So again, as we add to these will have more dividends coming in as passive income. And then on our Discover card, we get about $50 a month cash back. That's $600 a year. So as of right now, we're getting almost $1,000 a year of passive income. It's just money that we're getting anyways. Now here's our Social Security things. I have not looked at Ricky's Social Security. We do need to get him signed up and look at that. Last time I looked at mine was in March of 2021. It basically says, as of right now, if I was 62 and took the money, I'd get $669 a month, 67, 951, or if I was 70, 1,000. However, right now it's saying that by the year 2035, we're only going to get 79% of what we would have got. So realistically, I'm looking at $528, $751, or $930. Not really that great. I have just a note here for survival benefits. So if I were to pass right now, my children would get $979, or my spouse who's taking care of the children would get $979, up to $2,000. Basically, up to $2,000 a month is what they could get if I were to. They would have that survivor's Social Security. So these are just numbers you might want to start looking into, no matter how young you are. You have to work a certain amount of time in order to even qualify for Social Security. Before I met my husband, I worked from the time I was like 15, 16. I worked full time. I worked part time in high school, and then I worked full time all the way up until I became a stay-at-home mom like 10 years ago. So I've worked my time. Now this number hasn't really changed much because I'm not working, right? But I'll get something. Another thing I have on here, just calculate keeping track of what the maxes are for different investments. So the 401k max currently is 19,500, and the Roth IRAs, because we have 6,000, we have 12,000. This is if we wanted to do 2. I do not have a 401k now, so this would not even matter for us. But this, I just broke it down. How much would it be monthly if we were trying to do it in the budget? What percent were we looking at? Just something I'm playing with and calculating. But it's just kind of a note, a side note. So I hope that helped you guys just to kind of go through and figure out what your numbers might look like. Like I said, you can literally just get a piece of paper and just start tracking that, keeping track of it, calculate it out a little bit, use that compound interest calculator to get an idea of what it might look like if you know, invested a certain amount of money each month. So again, this is how I've come up with our strategy, and so I know on a monthly basis, hey, as long as I'm investing this certain amount, I can use the extra money for vacation, or use the extra money for debt payoff, or use the extra money for home projects, whatever it might be, as long as I'm investing that certain amount, because we're going to reach our goals by what we feel is a decent age. If we can retire at 57, that's 10 years earlier than most people even plan on doing. So to me, that's a huge win. Now, some people, they want to retire even earlier. So in that case, you better start planning. But I hope it helped you. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.